All right, welcome everybody. It's been a long break, but I'm back. That's right, I'm back. You heard that correctly. Oh my goodness. Thank you. The hugs. Thank you. Okay. That's enough hugs. Thank you so much. Well, it feels fantastic to be back, my friends, my fellow viewers, mis amigos. And what a show do I have prepared for you. Now, the reason I took a 7-day break is because I lost my voice. And I was wondering, why did I lose my voice? Because I was streaming too many times with other people, my other friends on YouTube. And I laughed so much, I didn't realize I was laughing so much. And so I woke up and I was like, wait a minute. What's wrong with my voice? So I had this horrible coughs and everything. But anyways, I'll write a little bit about it in the comment section, but it's not a big deal. You live and you learn. You know, don't work too hard. My voice is just one of those, I don't know how you say, not delicate, but not as tough as most. It's like my hair. It's not really thick hair, but it's not really light hair like Asian style. But it's wavy. It's in between. So my voice isn't that powerful. Now, the words that I have to say are powerful. Don't get that twisted. And a very warm welcome to everybody back. It's good to be back. Trust me, I wanted to be back so many times, but I wasn't ready. Just when I thought I was ready, the coughs came back. So I want to give a special shout out before we start here. This is going to be the best version of Movies About Love, Episode 4. Trust me, this is a real banger right here. This is perhaps going to be the most famous one. I'll leave a timestamp for the beginning. Special shout out to Westside Accountability for purchasing my book. I know you're going to love it, and it's a fantastic Valentine's gift. Oh my goodness. So many scaredy cats out there afraid to take the plunge, so please, Westside Accountability, let them know what's up. Let them know what they're missing. Okay? It's not about profits. It's about spreading the word that it's my unique version on life and love. It's my own philosophy, and I want to spread it to as many people as I can. Okay? Trust me, I'm not going to become a billionaire off of this. It's just giving me so much pleasure for people to finally know what it is that I'm talking about and then make it work for themselves in their own lives. Oh my goodness, that's the ultimate gift back to me. So, changing people's lives is what I'm all about. Plus, I got lots in the future anyways. Maybe a couple more books to write. And movies as well. So, let's get right into it. El Mariachi Trilogy. Where do I start? This took extremely long for me to compile. I'm not trying to tell the story per se. I'm trying the love aspect. But you gotta know that El Mariachi was created by Robert Rodriguez, and he's such a cool, humble guy. So Robert Rodriguez is let me see if we got a good connection here. Yeah, Robert Rodriguez wanted to bring Mexican culture, you know, into the American mainstream because he felt that, you know, the Hispanic culture wasn't, well, in particular Mexican culture wasn't getting represented enough. So that's pretty much the theme in all this. He wanted to make a superhero out of something as simple as a mariachi. You guys can go watch extras about it. All right, if you guys want to see, you know, why he made the movies and such. So let's get started. So El Mariachi is kind of like a sad story. Let's get a look here. Get right into it. Right here. Alright, so let's start off with El Mariachi. This is where it all started. A low budget of $7,000. Can you imagine making a movie out of $7,000, people? I mean, that's nothing. In Hollywood, that's just nothing. So just try to imagine that. This movie was pretty well made. But, you know, he did he didn't have a bunch of extra takes. He just filmed it in one take. So, and it was supposed to be in Spanish, so you guys can look up the extras to really get a reason as to why he did this movie in the first place. He didn't expect it to be a hit, though. All right, so El Mariachi introducing Carlos Gallardo. He pretty much a mariachi is just somebody who plays the guitar pretty much for money in a band, and they sing serenatas, I believe. They're like love songs. So if you don't know what a mariachi is, you pretty much hire them to sing songs, in particular love songs, but they sing a lot of different songs. So in Mexico, it's part of their culture. So here's El Mariachi. Here's El Mariachi. Like, he's just a normal guy, okay? He's not a gangster or anything. So this movie is different from the sequels because he's not a gangster, an action hero or anything. All right. So this is the first installment of the trilogy. He simply falls in love with this landlady, Consuelo Gomez, as the actress playing Domino. And the main bad guy, you guys got to remember this for the sequel. The main bad guy has a thing for her too. And I think supports her by the housing that he pays her to live in or something. So here's a bad guy, and they call him Moco, which is kind of funny because in English it means snot, which is kind of funny. But anyways, so here's the bad guy. Kind of bad acting because once again Rodriguez shot it in just one take, no extra takes. So in the sequel, the main, he's not the head bad guy. He's like a low bad guy in this movie. So just bear with that, okay? Remember that. So let me try to explain this because it's a little confusing compared to the sequels. So here's El Mariachi, and he's running around town because there's this other guy, the real guy, the man in black that they're looking for, and his name is Azul. In Spanish, that means blue. Anyways, so they're trying to look for him, and I guess he has a guitar case full of guns. And he wants his pay for some crime that he did with Moco, and they didn't pay him, so these guys accidentally switch suitcases, like the guitar suitcase for the guitar full of guns suitcase. So now they're after this guy, the real mariachi. He has nothing to do with nothing in the cartel. So he's mistaken for the other dude. Okay. And then, we're fast forwarding to the end because why waste anybody's time? We're focusing on the love part of the story. So focusing on the love part of the story, El Mariachi, he'll come into this scene pretty soon. But here's Azul, the guy that they were really looking for. He decides to take Domino as a hostage to the main guy, Moco, and say, hey, you pay me or I kill Domino. And then Domino says something about El Mariachi because they fell in love somewhere in the movie. And then so he didn't like that, so he shoots Domino anyways. Let me see here. Connection. Alright, looks like we're back. So, sorry about that connection, folks. So, right here, he shoots Domino, and then Azul is like, great, I don't have a hostage anymore. So, he shoots Azul, too, because, 2 for 1 special. Why not? And let's see what goes on here. So, El Mariachi finally arrives to the scene. And he's like, well, of course, he just sees Domino dead, so now he's really upset, but what is he going to do, right? And then so, 3 for 1 special. Moco shoots his hand because he doesn't like the fact that he's a mariachi and that Domino fell in love with him. So you see how hard this is to explain? The movie explains itself. It's too simple. That's why it's hard to explain. Pretty much, that's why I fast forward to the end, because it's not really a love story in the first one, and the director didn't really mean it to be something big. He was just messing around. So here, Moco shoots his hand because why not? And then he says, you can leave now, take your hand with you. So he starts laughing. And then El Mariachi takes advantage by picking up Azul's pistol and shooting him dead. And then the cartel just lets him go. So here he is, a final farewell to Domino. For final kiss goodbye, farewell. So it's a really boring movie, but it's kind of cool. It's El Mariachi's Nothing really to write home about. It's just a cool movie that prepares Desperado because, like I said, Robert Rodriguez didn't expect it to be a hit or anything. He just wanted to mess around. So then Desperado, he got the rights to. He's actually the person who made Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek so popular because Antonio says, hell yeah, I want to play an action role. And Salma Hayek, nobody wanted her because of her thick accent. And as beautiful as she was there and still is. So he hired both of them and made them famous through Spy Kids as well, not just Desperado. And now they have a $7 million budget for this movie. So here's where the real excitement begins, okay, people? That's why I had such a slow start to this, because El Mariachi is just... it's just a mess around movie. It wasn't supposed to be something. So difficult for me to explain. Anyways, but there was love in there between Domino and El Mariachi. So Antonio Banderas is supposed to take over for Carlos Gallardo, the main protagonist. El for El Mariachi. Now they have better acting and an awesome soundtrack. Here we go. It's so hard to explain this trilogy, but so now Banderas takes over for Gallardo as El Mariachi. Okay. So they have a flashback. They bring back Consuelo there as Domino just to be dead for another reshoot. So they kind of trying to overlap the movies and show, hey, here's the new mariachi. And so we're continuing where we left off. Okay. Alright. Something special that I'm going to contribute to the world. When you look at the etymology of El, it comes from Elohim, meaning strong one. And it's plural of majesty and intimates the Trinity. And I thought, Trinity, that's interesting because I was in the movie The Matrix. And also Neo, the One. It's like El, is also the One in its own right as a hero, a strong one, right? I just found it funny because later they have this trio thing that I'll show you. Anyways, so he comes. See, this is why it's confusing. El Mariachi from part 1 actually comes back into this movie as a cameo appearance as one of the Trinities, as I call it, the three mariachis. And why not, right? I mean, this is what makes it so confusing. It's like, wait a minute. This guy's replacing this guy, but he still shows up. I thought he died. Nobody's another guy. It's just like, but like I said, Robert Rodriguez, he didn't know that this was gonna go anywhere. So that's why it's hard to explain. It's like, no, wait a minute. Let me explain this because then you don't know this. And okay, let's continue. So there he is, supposedly replacing Banderas, but no, he's also an extra in the movie as one of what I call the Trinity, right? Anyways, so enough of the conspiracy part. Let's continue. Anyway, so Campa, he comes back as Campa, one of El Mariachi's friends, and Kino is on to the left. I'll explain. Kino's the one with the rocket launcher, and Campa, the original mariachi, comes back with 2 machine gun guitar cases, because why not, right? And they just stand out in the open in one of these action scenes. And they pretty much, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but they pretty much get killed in the most craziest way. So, if you haven't seen the movie by now, kind of feel sorry for you. I mean, where were you? Were you living underneath the rock? So, Desperado turns into a movie about love and revenge. Because, remember, Antonio is replacing Gallardo, and he wants his revenge because he wasn't happy enough killing Moco. Head guy of a whole cartel, man. Why not? So that means killing the main bad guy named Bucho, which I'll go over. But it's kind of rushed, though. This whole trilogy, it just looks all copied and pasted. But Desperado was very well done. And so was its sequel, the last installment of the trilogy, which is Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which I will go over. So here's Bucho, the new Moco, if you will, but he's not replacing him. He's actually the head of the head cartel. Moco was just, in the middle somewhere. So El Mariachi wants to kill this guy. Oh my goodness. Spoilers ahead. It doesn't matter. There's better acting, but they're brothers. Got it? El Mariachi and Bucho, why not? They're brothers. So he wants to kill him in the beginning, but he can't. It's like they threw in stuff just to make it complicated, Here's Salma Hayek, kind of like the new Domino, because it's El Mariachi's new love. Meets her at a bookstore, because he gets all injured in the beginning. Her name is pronounced Carolina, not Carolina, Carolina. So she owns a bookstore that, lo and behold, Bucho gave her, just like Moko gave the compound to Domino in the first one. So nothing too special here, okay, guys? That's why it's kind of hard to really explain this movie. But so finally, they have a sex scene for the first time in the trilogy, and that's all you're ever gonna get. I don't think there's any more sex scenes in the whole trilogy. Just one fairly decent one, nothing pornographic. Luckily, because it would affect the pace and the smoothness of the movie. Because it's like, no, it's supposed to be kind of PG-13. I think it's rated R anyways. Actually, these movies were so violent that they didn't know that they were going to get produced at all. That's how bad they were. Anyways, so I had to point out the sex scene because, well, there we go. There's love in the movie because it got that intense, right? I mean, it wasn't just a one-night stand thing. They really fell in love with each other. So now there's more serious love, but they're always on the run. So it's kind of like the Matrix thing where there's no time for love, right? Got to get back to the action. Now, I'll really quickly go over this guy, Danny Trejo. I have to, because he's kind of a bad guy. He's like a Colombian spy, undercover spy. Anyway, so the guy's the henchman mistaken for El Mariachi, and they accidentally kill him, but it's a lot of fun. But fun fact, Danny Trejo here becomes Machete, and guess what? Robert Rodriguez once again. He makes him a star. He makes Danny Trejo a star by giving him his own trilogy. Yes, the third movie is still on the way. It's taken forever. I don't know, over a decade or something, but it's on the way. And he has this thing with knives, because in Desperado he's a knife thrower. Here he's all with machetes, bigger knives, because why not, right? Anyways, so let's fast forward to the end of Desperado. Yes, that's how fast-paced we're going. Because in Desperado, Bucho, the main guy, is like, I'm going to kill Carolina. Right? And it's like part one, it's like part one, Moko, the guy lower than this guy, just kills Azul and kills Domino. This guy's like, hey, I'm going to kill Carolina, right? And so El Mariachi is right there along with Carolina, obviously, watching hopelessly. But there is an alternate ending where Carolina picks up a shotgun and then they just kill everybody. Anyways, fun fact. So El Mariachi's like, no, that's not going to happen. We've been here before. And so he says, oh, hell no. And he saves Carolina and survives, killing Bucho. Because, handguns inside arm sleeves are easy to hide, right? Now, why did I cover it that in the boringest style possible? Because Once Upon a Time in Mexico is the movie that is ranked number one, in my opinion, out of this whole trilogy. El Mariachi is very boring. It wasn't meant to be anything. And you have a slight love between Domino and El Mariachi. But we're talking about, like, a bathtub scene. Ooh, she's got a letter opener and gonna cut off his testicles if he doesn't prove that he's a mariachi. That's not really that much romance, people. Anyway, so they fell for each other, but there was not really any deep love. And then so Desperado comes up, and she dies, by the way. Desperado comes up, and he's like, I'm not satisfied by killing Moko, and now it's a new actor. So you don't really feel the connection anymore with Domino. You see how empty it feels? And then so Desperado is kind of like the second form of emptiness. Now you have, Salma Hayek and Banderas coming in. They look fantastic on screen together. They have chemistry, and they have a sex scene. It's like you jump from like a very mediocre love theme in the beginning. Now it's gotten like rushed. Like, okay, whoa. Here's some love. And then but Once Upon a Time in Mexico makes all the much more sense when you see what happens. I hope that kind of explains it, because it's really difficult to explain with all the changing. Because now you have a $30 million budget with Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That's why I'm rushing to the end, because there's not much really to tell other than enjoying the violence on screen and the story and the funny script of Desperado, and just getting through El Mariachi, the beginning, just to see how it all started, which it wasn't meant to be anything. Now we have Johnny Depp, but he's not really a main character. He's not on the side with... By the way, they bring the bartender back, which is Cheech Marin or something, one from Cheech and Chong, you know. He's a famous actor also. He plays a bartender. But like, it's funny because he gets killed in Desperado and he comes back in this one with like with an eye patch, and it's like, well, no, he got shot in the forehead in Desperado, not the eye. Anyways, jeez, it's a Robert Rodriguez thing, okay? He does explain it, by the way. These weird three elements in the movie that he explains. Don't worry. So let's go ahead and get into this. Johnny Depp, because why not? His name is Agent Sands, some type of secret agent. Really not important. Another guy who comes back, even though he died, the knife guy, right? In Desperado, the Colombian undercover spy. Danny Trejo's back as a villain, only to die again, because why not? And then, of course, El Trio, again, the Trinity, as I said. Alright, here we go. Let me just explain this thing. So we got Enrique Iglesias. Come on, people. Enrique Iglesias, the singer. I mean, because why not? Son of Julio Iglesias. And he has this flame guitar. Why not, right? Just because why not? You're going to hear me say that quite a bit. And then, of course, you have Banderas and Salma Hayek. I mean, with the $30 million budget, let's pay for a bunch of digital effects and explosions, you know, and jump everywhere and give them good action scenes. They're good action scenes, but I think Desperado did it better. It felt more organic. Once Upon a Time in Mexico feels more rushed. It's kind of cool. But it just feels more rushed, and with a 5 times plus budget compared to Desperado, like 7 million versus 30 million, I think the millions went more towards actors and fancy setups that really weren't necessary. In my humble opinion, of course. So explosions everywhere with the big budget. Then they put her in the... Salma Hayek was supposed to be part of the action, by the way. So they put her as you know, an action figure in the beginning, but, you know, they had to kill her off because she didn't have time. She was filming Frida at the time. I can't believe I have to memorize all this stuff just for a show, but... So she's throwing knives here, unrealistically, killing people with El Mariachi as a team. I mean, makes sense, right? And then Johnny Depp, you know, he loses his eyes, but he can still shoot good or something. Like, there's just, you know, his eyes were surgically removed because some horrific betrayal scene. And then, so, you know, you got El Mariachi here, you know, continuing to gun down, you know, more gunfights and faster pace than Desperado. It has a great soundtrack. Maybe millions went to there, too. But, I mean, you know, it's a cooler costume. They really made him a superhero in part 3. So, here we go. My goodness. Out of nowhere, they start talking about in the beginning to the end, but this character is kind of like out of nowhere General Marquez, because what's happening in the country is a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat is when the military takes over the government, and this is the Mexican government, so I mean, $30 million budget, people, why not? So he's a new main bad guy, and what does he do? Well, for some reason, he wants to go after El, because reasons, and then so he kills Carolina, he shoots up El. I mean, we're talking about with an assault rifle here. And also kills their little daughter, which I didn't want to show for reasons, but they don't show her getting shot. They actually show the little daughter in Carolina's arms, like, laughing while she gets shot. Don't ask me why. Anyways, so now it becomes a story of revenge. Like, just, you see how twisted this is? So fast forward to the end. El Mariachi does get his revenge. He blows out this dude's... knees, blows him off with his famous shotgun hand cannon, they call it, you know, like sawed-off shotgun pistol thing. And it's just another classic Hollywood mistake, just like the movie with Jet Li, Fist of Fury. I think it's no Fist of Legend. When the general says, "Move your men out, move them out," it's the same thing here. He's like, "Váyanse de aquí," leave me alone with El Mariachi. Classic Hollywood mistake, and El Mariachi pretty much kills him. This is a very well filmed revenge right here for what's his name, General Marquez, killing his wife Carolina and daughter, and leaving him for dead. So it's a really funny sequence. Let me just say it really quick. So they're approaching each other in this final finale, right? This scene, it's such a powerful scene. The best scene, I believe, in the whole trilogy. Such a short scene, but General says, Carolina, meaning like, hey, what's up, right? And so El Mariachi says, muerto, meaning dead. And then he asks, tu hija, his daughter, and he says, muerto, dead. And then he asks El Mariachi, y tú, meaning and you. And then Mariachi says, muerto, also dead. So he's answering his questions, right? And then the general says, y yo, meaning, and what about me? And then El Mariachi says, viviendo bien, living well. And then so they pull out their guns and they shoot each other, right? But El Mariachi doesn't get hit, and he says, en infierno, in hell. So living well in hell. So it's a really nice dialogue. It's so macho. It's the best scene in the whole series, okay? So, what the heck? Let's focus on the love, okay? Because that's what we're here for. So here's a wedding that, it's just a sad ending, because that's what this whole trilogy is about. Just a sad love story, but it's not really about love, right? But that's what this series is all about. It's like, wait a minute. Was it really about all the guns and killing and wasting millions of dollars on the budget for this and that? No, it's still a love story. You guys missed the whole point, because what was El Mariachi from the very beginning? What was his very number one motivation, right? Well, he met Domino, so he wanted to protect Domino, and then he lost Domino, and then now Desperado, he wants revenge, even though he already got it, killing Moko, so it's revenge already from part 1 at the end. And then in part 2, Desperado, he wasn't satisfied, so he went all the way to his brother, Bucho, just happens to be his brother, just like in Mortal Kombat, Shao Kahn is brothers with Raiden. It's kind of crazy. It's like the same similar stories. So he has to kill Bucho in the name of Domino and to protect Carolina, which is his new love, which reminds him of Domino, I suppose. But they've had sex, so it's a lot more serious. Like, it's just like, how did you guys go from knowing each other straight to sex? Well, congratulations, it worked out. That's not typical, right? And then part 3, he has to lose everybody. His daughter, his wife, and now it's just all about revenge. You see? So if you don't have that, you don't have a movie. You just have senseless killing, just like in Ninja Assassin, The Matrix, and Equilibrium. So I hope you guys like this installment of movies about love, because if you were to take this out, all the love, you don't have a movie. It's just stupid, senseless killing, like, oh, okay, the coup d'etat. Yeah, but you had to wait till part 3 for that. What the heck was number 1 going to be about? Number 2, it's a story of love and revenge. Even though they don't even spend that much time on the love and revenge part. So you see how subtle it is in this movie, in these movies, but how important it is, how integral it is. It's at the center, as I say. So that's what this series is all about. Let me check the chat. It's really early to be doing this stream, but I wanted to knock it out of the way. What a kind of a headache it was. But okay, yeah, nobody as expected on. I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this installment of movies about love. Alright, we took a good half hour to get through all this mayhem. It was fun to put together, but the next series I'm going to definitely consolidate it a lot more, because it's just too much to explain. So that's why it was kind of a bit of a boring start here, because the director didn't mean for this movie to be anything. And then the second one, he's like, okay, where do we go from here? Because the third one wasn't really supposed to happen either. They just were granted like 5 times the budget to see what else he could do, and that was it. Then he moved on to the Machetes trilogy and the Spy Kids trilogy. So Robert Rodriguez, this is just all about, his movies to make these two famous and to have a good time. just because. So highly recommend you watch his explanation of the movies and extras on YouTube. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's great to be back. I'll have another stream hopefully tonight when everybody else is awake in the United States. So here from Germany, signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in. And till next time.